I have a brief prepared statement and then I'll take any questions you may have. In Ashtabula, the city solicitor is an elected official, a licensed attorney who serves as chief legal counsel for the city of Ashtabula. It's my job to offer members of city council, the city manager, and all of the municipal departments and employees the best legal advice possible. The city solicitor position is not a policy-making position. Policy for the city is made by your elected city council members and the voters through referenda, such as the camera issue on the ballot this November. My job is to help policymakers and the citizens of our community craft laws and ordinances that are legal and constitutional, and to enforce the laws and ordinances that are currently on the books. Part of my mission as city solicitor is to keep politics and personal agendas out of the solicitor's office. The city solicitor is the people's attorney, and an attorney works in his client's behalf and not his own. I come to this office with no personal agenda to advance, no political party to support. Every day I come to work each morning with one goal in mind, providing each and every one of the citizens of Ashtabula City with the best legal representation possible. In 2007, I defeated my opponent, Tom Simon, who had held the position for more than 20 years. I stepped into an office whose reputation had been tarnished by years of political influence and unprofessional behavior, meddling into non-legal city issues, and lax enforcement of our city's drug laws. For the past 4 years, I've worked hard to bring respect, credibility, and effective management back to the city solicitor's office and help our city leaders advance economic development in our community. As city solicitor, my opponent, Tom Simon, demonstrated a failure of leadership in this position and a lack of respect for the office and the citizens he was elected to serve. And he continues to do so today. In all honesty, as a lawyer, as a voter, and as a citizen of Ashtabula, I have to say I was disappointed, angered, and outraged at Tom Simon's performance in our face-off during the League of Women Voters candidate night on October 6th at Kent State, Ashtabula. This segment of the event will be televised on Kent State Ashtabula's Access Channel tomorrow night at 7 p.m. and rebroadcast October 24, 28, and November 1 and 5. I was outraged as a citizen of Ashtabula that the former city solicitor would sit next to me and deliberately lie about his past operation of 2 bars in the harbor, the Dry Dock and the LA Cafe. When answering a question about a potential conflict of interest in having a city solicitor operate a bar in the municipality, Simon tells the audience that, quote, my wife owned a bar and, quote, there were no problems there, end quote, during the time in which he operated the LA Cafe while solicitor. I will play you that part of the broadcast.
If you like, you might want to
You might
stand
want
up
to
so you
step
can,
forward.
yeah, so you can actually see and hear this a little bit better.
Well, you
Go on up.
Go right on.
Yeah, don't
Don't
worry
worry.
about it.
Yeah,
I
come
don't
on.
want to be in the
No.
picture.
No, come on forward. It's fine.
Yeah, since I wasn't there.
Yeah. That's why we want to have it, so. Kurt.
So,
They ran as a team, they exist as a team.
Hang on a second. Let me rewind it for you.
This could be for televised at 7 PM on which channel?
21.
21, that's right. Say when the
Yeah.
city council's on.
City council's on 19.
Oh,
21's Kent.
The city solicitor is Ashtabula's top legal expert, and therefore should have impeccable credentials. Do you feel you live up to that, Mr. Franklin?
I believe I do. I practiced law in Ashtabula County for 30 years. I'm admitted to practice in the Supreme Court of Ohio, the Federal District of the Northern District of Ohio, and the U.S. Supreme Court. I've tried hundreds of cases. I've tried dozens of criminal cases and to a jury and hundreds of criminal cases to judges. I've advised townships. I've advised cities. I've sat on community boards. I've donated my time. I'm very heavily invested in the area as a businessman and as a property attorneys that Mr. Franklin practiced before the Supreme Court of Ohio and federal district courts, and of course the various lower state courts. We all belong to the same organization, Ohio Bar Association, American Bar Association, Asheville County Bar Association, things of that nature. I've been practicing for over 30 years, continuously. I think my record speaks for itself for the city. There's the last 4 years, under the leadership of Gannigal and Franklin, this city, the legal leadership and otherwise, have been dismal. And if anyone can say that they're better off today than they were 4 years ago, then again, I encourage them. Keep Mr. Franklin in office. Keep Mr. Gannigal in office. They ran as a team. They existed as a team. Mr. Franklin gives Mr. Gannigal a legal license not to plow the streets. Gives him legal license to do whatever Mr. Gannigal wants to do. And the city's dying for it. The light at the end of the tunnel is flickering. And we need to do something to change it. We need to change the administration.
Do you consider a city solicitor owning a bar or a nightclub in city limits a conflict of interest?
No, again, everyone knows that my wife owned a bar down in the Bridge Street area. It was a wonderful place, it was a wonderful establishment. I sold that probably 2005 or 2006. It's been gone now for several years. Could there be problems? Sure, there could be problems. Were there problems? There were no problems. The legal enterprise, Franklin himself, and many of the lawyers and judges used to come to the LA Cafe at one time. We had a good time there, and there were no problems. So there could be conflicts depending on who's running and how you operate it.
Mr. Franklin.
I think there can be a problem when a bar operating by the soldiers becomes a hotbed of crime and drugs. When the head of the Ohio Liquor Commission is calling it a drug bar, then I think that there's a problem.
This stack of papers that I'm holding here contains copies of court documents and published newspaper articles from 1999 through August of this year, detailing numerous lawsuits and complaints filed against Simon while in office and after he was voted out. These documents can also be read online at franklinforsolicitor.com/news. Now, I don't know how on earth Simon could ever consider himself to be an effective city solicitor with the ability to stop drug trafficking in our city when, according to the Star Beacon and News Herald, in 1999, Simon operated the dry dock, which the chairman of the Ohio Liquor Control Board called at that time a, quote, drug bar. Simon also served as a corporate agent of the investment group that owned the LA Cafe, a group for whom his wife, Joanne, served as president. That is his wife, Joanne, not his girlfriend, former city councilwoman Erica Severino. Both the LA Cafe and the dry dock were targets of a year-long state liquor enforcement and undercover FBI drug probe, which resulted in numerous drug violations at both bars, both under ownership and/or operation of Tom Simon at the time, even as he held the office of Ashtabula City Solicitor. The U.S. District Attorney's Office announced 3 charges against the owners of the LA Cafe, including 2 counts of allowing drug abuse. That's a far cry from no problems. Simon's other bar, the Dry Dock, had its liquor license revoked and was charged in 2000 with 12 documented violations, including 2 counts of trafficking drugs by employees or agents of the bar, 1 count of drug abuse, and 8 liquor violations. Remember, Tom was Ashtabula City Solicitor then, and members of his immediate family worked in both bars. Later, Tom was evicted from the dry dock after losing a lawsuit filed against him by the former owner, whom he never paid after purchasing the bar from her. So my first big question is this: if Tom Simon could not or would not stop his own employees from smoking pot in his own bar, how can the citizens of Ashtabula expect him to eliminate drug abuse and drug trafficking and other crimes in our business districts and neighborhoods? Let's face it, the LA Cafe is still a hotbed of drug activity and violence. We just had a murder there last month. The harbor merchants have made a compelling case for shutting it down. The city council has had me file objections to the renewal of its permit, and that is Tom Simon's legacy. He knows it. and rather than deal with it, he attempts to conceal it. You saw how he left the topic and attempted to discuss anything but that. I was shocked as a lawyer that during our Candidates Night face-off, Tom Simon did not acknowledge at any time that he is currently on a stayed suspension from the practice of law by the Supreme Court of Ohio Disciplinary Council. He was only one of about 5 lawyers in the state annually to be penalized in such a manner. They came this close to taking his license away from him, even in response to a question about professional qualifications. When he could have addressed the issue, he remained silent. Tom Simon owed to the voters of Ashtabula an explanation for himself on this critical matter, and he ignored it, and again he attempted to misdirect the question. If you read the case, it's called Disciplinary Counsel versus Simon. It's a 2010 case found at 128 Ohio State 3rd, 359, and you can read it for yourself at franklinforsolicitor.com. You will see that the Supreme Court's Disciplinary Council and Tom Simon himself stipulated Simon had been guilty of professional and ethical violations and a quote-unquote pattern of misconduct. The charges included commingling funds, failure to cooperate in a disciplinary investigation, conduct prejudicial to the administration of justice, and conduct adversely reflecting on his fitness to practice law, and using his trust account like it was, quote, his own personal bank account. Right now, Attorney Tom Simon is on probation and will remain so until February of 2012. That means if he won in November, he would be elected to office while on probation with a law license suspended by the Ohio Supreme Court through February, a license that could be revoked immediately if he were to violate the terms of the stay. By city charter, the city solicitor must have a valid law license in order to hold the position. If he screws up and his license gets yanked, the city could end up with no solicitor at all. Now, 3 of these documents I've referenced here detail cases where Tom Simon's own clients have sued him for negligence for failing to file papers in court by the deadline. In one case, the court instructed him to pay his client $10,000 in damages. So the second key question that should run through every voter's mind is if Tom Simon can mishandle funds from one of his own clients and time after time fail to protect his clients by meeting critical deadlines in court, if elected, why should you believe that he will not do the same for the citizens of Ashtabula? Do you think he will handle our money or our legal affairs any better? Tom Simon's conduct in and out of office is simply irresponsible, unprofessional, and outrageous, and Ashtabula deserves better than this. Ashtabula has a chance now to put the old politics of the past behind us and chart a new progressive course for the future of our city. I am excited about being a part of the new progressive era for our community, and with the voters' support on November 8th, I'm looking forward to serving another term as the city solicitor. Thank you, and I will take questions if you have them, and please make sure to take an electronic press kit with the complete documentation with you. The video clip is available for review on our Franklin for Solicitor YouTube channel, and the complete Franklin Simon segment will be available on our YouTube channel next week. Shelley, do you have any questions for me?
Did you say at any time that Franklin still owns the LA Cafe? I heard that.
Franklin never owns the LA Cafe.
It's his wife.
Not Franklin.
Oh, what'd I say?
Franklin.
I'm sorry. Simon, I don't know.
I
know. Simon,
During the period of time referenced in these documents,
yes.
the bar's ownership publicly included Joanne Simon.
Okay.
I can say, Mr. Simon mentioned that I had been in the bar. I believe the last time I was there, if memory serves, was February of 1998.
Okay.
But at that time, Tom was behind the bar serving patrons in the evening. And if I recall, when the dry dock was operating, one of his children was behind the bar serving patrons down there. At this time, I believe that primary ownership of the LA Cafe is represented by James Karkoff.
Right.
And Mr. Simon says the transfer was in approximately 2006. I have no way of knowing if that's correct or not. Anything else? All right.
I've got a question. How is your record of charges dismissed compared to his?
I've never run that specific statistic. I can tell you the criteria for dismissal of charges in my office, which is very simply, if the case is one where dismissal is earnestly requested by a victim in a face-to-face meeting with me, the victim did not suffer significant harm, and the defendant doesn't have a prior history of that sort of conduct, then I will dismiss at the victim's request. If, after our best efforts, we can't locate a victim, if a key witness is simply unavailable, we will be forced to dismiss because of speedy trial rules. We can't keep the case pending forever, or it will be dismissed on its own. There are also dismissed cases that are part of a negotiated plea. For example, someone charged with a DUI will also, drunk driving, will also be charged with a stop sign or a speed. Usually in return for the stop sign, or in return for the plea to the DUI, you dismiss the lesser charge. And again, our criteria is to get the plea to the most serious charge that we believe we can prove, and then we discuss dismissal of lesser charges. So dismissal in and of itself isn't key. What I can tell you is we consistently resolve not only the cases we file each year, but also a portion of the backlog that we inherited. The backlog has come down from 800 at the end of 2006, which was Tom's last full year in office, to approximately 500 as of the end of 2010, which was my last full year in office. So we are an efficient office.
Well, thank you.
Okay. You've got your documents, and we appreciate you coming very much.
Thank you.